I want to welcome everyone. As I said, it is so good to see. I get emotional. It's so good to see smiling faces, virtual hugs, being able to connect this way. I was thinking this morning how far technology has come, and I was thinking back to like in my corporate days where I'd have to get on a plane. Usually on Sundays, I would be packing a suitcase. I'd have to hop on a jet that night, get to someplace for morning meetings on Monday morning. And then we switched to phone calls. And now here we are. We can all pop on Zoom, be in our PJs if we want with our Sunday morning coffee, the Sunday paper, and connect this way. And it makes it both it pulls on our heartstrings a little bit because we want to be in person, but it also allows us to connect with people all over the globe, because I do see some people that are from out of state, and I so love to see that too. I get to connect with my peeps that are all over the globe. So this month, Lake Harriet, I want to thank Lake Harriet for inviting me in. There is a donation button that you can hit, I think, as part of the link. And so I just want to take a moment and call out Lake Harriet for continuing to keep the space open for people to gather and for us to meditate and connect this way. And I'm just in deep, deep gratitude for this organization. In February, the topic is courage to be vulnerable to the possibility. And, as I was sitting with this, I was thinking, wow, what a time for us to be in this world, right? What a time in this major transformation. Most of us, what we thought we knew is not really what we know. And I want to talk about the transformation that we're in, because there's a lot happening in our astrology. There's a lot happening in our world energetically. We're transitioning from the age of Pisces, which is all about what we believe, into the age of Aquarius, which is what we know. And in that transition, we're really shaking up what we believed to be true and what we know to be true. And that includes us internally, as well as what we're witnessing and experiencing out in the world. So it is an incredibly powerful time to be here on the planet. And I know that when I talk about our transformation and our transition, most of us have been here on Earth or have been in soul lives during different ages, the age of Gemini, the age of Taurus, the age of Aries, the age of Pisces. Those are all linear ages. And we learned things along those ages. And so, for example, in the age of Gemini, that was when we started to use language. In the age of Taurus, that's where we started to improve on our farming, and we started to trade. We started to have money or things that we would have as ours. The archetype for Taurus is I have. But the age of Aquarius is what I know, and it's about how we need other people, how we need collaboration, how we need energy in a standpoint of our vibrational frequency. So how do we know we are anything than who we are? How do we know? So in this time of this transition of what we believe and what we know, how do we know that we're anything different than what we know? How do we know that you're anything different than how you're showing up today? Right? It's kind of this mind twist, because in our humanness, or I like to say in our weirdness, we're always who we are, right? And we get to accept that. And I think one of the biggest gifts that the universe is giving us right now is to accept that weirdness that we have, and to really understand and believe in who we are, and then make conscious choices as to who we are and how we interact with others. And part of that is being vulnerable to all the possibilities. The universe is incredibly abundant. Sometimes it feels very scarce, but it is abundant. I mean, I can look out my windows right now and there is abundance of snow out my windows. And so the universe, there's abundance of birds. I mean, the universe is always abundant to us, but it's the lens or the filter that we look through that catches us up. And many of us felt like 2020, there was so much that was being Thank you. I just pulled chat up here too. So if you have questions, you can put your questions in the side on chat. I can see that. But in the world of 2020 with the pandemic, we felt like so many things were canceled, right? How many of you felt like the world kind of was put on hold? Our timelines changed. I know for me personally, it just feels like the time stopped. And keep in mind that in the universe, there is no time. It's event driven, right? It's energy driven. But if you felt that things were just canceled and we were put on hold, pause for a moment, because our dreams were never put on hold. Our ability, we can continue to dream. The parts of us that we still need to work on are still moving forward. And I say it's kind of like the universe slapped us on our hand or swatted us on our behind and said, go to your room and don't come out until you've figured out what you need to learn. And some of us are emerging now. Some of us are still kind of in that timeout in our room. Some of us don't want to do that internal assessment. And some of us are roaring right into it. Like, here I am, I've learned this. And so we're all at different stages of what the universe is wanting us to learn. The reality is we still have a lot to learn. And I say part of 2020 was we really got to look at the underbelly, the shadow parts of us, the shadow parts of the world, the shadow parts of our history. And I'm talking about not just our lifetime and our grandparents' lifetime and our great-great-grandparents, but these ages that I've talked about earlier. The age of Cancer, that was the goddess energy. The age of Leo was the end of the ice age. We go way back in those ages. And how do we disperse or learn from those parts of us and claim that they're parts of us, and then allow it to be released? And honestly, we stand in the doorway. Actually, this weekend, do we have any Pisces babies out here? Because this weekend we're moving into Pisces, the astrology sign of Pisces. And the archetype is I believe. So we're standing at that threshold, as I said, from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, but we're also in the season of Pisces to really challenge what we believe. So February, as we go into the next 3 or 4 weeks until we go into the sign of Aries, is all going to be about pushing our buttons on what we believe. So just be aware of that. This is an opportunity that the universe is giving us to recognize what we believe and see if it matches with us. And the reason I bring that up is we're really on this doorway. I mean, today I'm looking at my calendar and it's 2/21/21. I mean, it's kind of a magical numerology date, but we're also flipping into or stepping into this gateway of I believe. And a little bit later on, I'm going to do a meditation with Saint Germain, but I'm also going to challenge you to think about, what do you believe? Are you taking that universal time out and kind of assessing or looking at what you believe or what you don't believe and making the conscious decisions about what you're going to take through to the new age? Because the universe is giving you a chance right now. And fear comes up. We continue to have this fear. And I've talked before that fear is important for us because it kind of keeps us safe sometimes, but it also can be very limiting to us. And so fear is a necessity for us to also learn about how dynamic we are and what fears we're working through. And so notice too, not only are we working through what we believe, and we get to decide what we believe, and we get to kind of prepare for the new definition of who we are, but we also get tested on our belief system and our fear system. So those are the two strong points that are going to come up here in this Pisces energy. And Ella's got a question. What would you say to people who lost loved ones last year? I would say my heart is with you. I too lost a sibling and I lost a number of friends. And so it was a huge time of loss. And we will continue to see that. Unfortunately, we will continue to see that. There's a couple reasons that people are exiting. One, they didn't sign up to be here at this time of Aquarius. Quite honestly, they're like, nope, I did my work in the age of Pisces. Nope, I'm done. I'm out of here. Two, they could be saying, I can't do enough here on earth. I need to go into the heavens and do my work there. There's a lot of collectives in the heavens that are influencing us. So there's a number of reasons. Neither of those make it any easier for us that have lost loved ones here, but it does bring a little bit of comfort to know that there is a calling. Either they get to relax a little bit because they're done. They're kind of turning it over to us, or they're still working really hard for and with us. So thanks for that question. So when we talk about our energy fields, and there's a lot of distractions, and I don't want to say that losing a loved one is a distraction, but it throws us off. Anytime that there's a loss of home, loss of job, loss of relationship, loss of a loved one, it throws our energy field off. And we've had a lot of that happen in 2020, where we have felt off kilter, we felt off balance, we felt that the rug has been ripped out from underneath us, and our energy does get muddled. We probably have felt really unbalanced in that. We've become exhausted. Think about if you were standing on one of those exercise balls trying to hold your balance. That's kind of how we've been for a period of time, is that we get tired, our core gets tired. And so the universe has been holding us on that place of trying to get back in balance. But I do believe that 2021, we do get some rest period as we come forward. I do think that the universe keeps yanking us back to reset. I do believe that 2020 and 2019 were huge purposeful reset buttons for us to slow down and really assess where we were. We can't go where we need to go until we've dealt with what we've been dealing with. Does that make sense? So we think about just our political arena, our social arena, our how we interact with our communities. Those things have to change. They are not sustainable as we go into the age of Aquarius. So they have to collapse in order for us to rebuild. And the reason you guys are all here is because you're as part of that rebuild process. Okay. And it's scary, right? Let's just admit that it's a little bit scary. It's in this place of, when we talk about vulnerable, we have to be open to those possibilities of change. And when we're open to the possibilities of change, then we start to feel vulnerable. We want to start putting our masks on. We want to start putting our armor on. We want to start having things go back to the way they were. And the reality is that they won't ever go back to the way they were, simply because we have changed. The minute we see something, we are changed by it. The minute we experience something, our vibration is shifted, and we can never go back to unsee it. We can never go back to unknowing it. We can never go back to where it was. And so if we spend all our time trying to get back to where we were a year ago or 2 years ago, it just doesn't work. We have to go forward. And that's part of this threshold that we're on right now, is deciding how do we go forward. So do you feel you? I'm just going to throw some questions out there for you to ponder today. Do you feel you? Meaning, are you aware of your awareness? Do you see and feel and hear what's happening around? Or are you one that is trying to put an old mask on, trying to cover up? Allow yourself to feel. You may not like how you feel. You may not like what's showing up for you personally, but that's being vulnerable. And I'm curious, like in this last year, if things have shown up in your own, like words have come out of your mouth or thoughts have crossed your mind, and you're like, I don't like those words. I don't like those thoughts. I don't like that about me. Does anyone experience that? It's like, that's part of being, thank you, Katie, the honesty. We've all experienced it. It's just like, oh my God, I didn't even know I had that circulating as my filter system. It makes me sad. It makes me angry. It makes me upset that I even have that as part of me. But that's being vulnerable. That's being honest. That's being aware of your awareness and having that decision to claim it and then to reset it to something else. And I want to just, as I don't want to judge, I don't want you to judge yourselves because we're all human, but that is part of the human experience. It's part of really understanding that at any given moment, you really are doing the best that you can. And to have any other expectation that you could do better without knowing is really an unfair judgment to yourself. If you have an awareness about yourself or an awareness about a situation and you choose to hold on to that, then you can start to have different conversations with yourself. But until you understand, it's really an unfairness about that judgment about yourself. So, and let's just agree that we all can have some of these awful moments, right? Let's say that we can get angry, we can be judging, we can fight, we can even dip into gossiping or being unkind. But even at those moments, you're being your authentic self. You really are. And you're allowing that authentic self, the belly of yourself, the shadow of yourself to come forward. And that's real. That's real. And we have to allow space for people to be real in order for that to be called out, to be seen, to be looked at, to be shifted. That is being vulnerable. So not only is it us being vulnerable, but it's also allowing other people to be vulnerable, to say their truth and to come to their own realization. These are the pieces that are the shadow parts of us coming up. And in my work in the shamanic field, I see shattered hearts, or I see shattered energy. And part of the magic around that, I'm smiling, is part of the magic around that is when we have that realization about something about us, we heal ourselves. It comes together all on its own. We don't have to go to somewhere, it begins to heal ourselves. And just know that in that, we're continuing to be shaped. We're shaped by those that we interact with. We're shaped by our environment. We're shaped by our experiences. And so we're constantly being reshaped. Okay. And in this age of Aquarius, how do you want to be shaped? And I think now in this age, this technology, we have better choices as to where we put our time or where we spend our time, what we allow to shape us in this. Okay. So do you believe that in history, um, during our biggest challenges, this is when we've had the biggest shifts? Do you believe that? We can look back in the history books because it's like as we stay in status quo, we become numb to situations. We don't see the possibilities of change. We stay status quo. And so we know that in history, when we've had our biggest challenges, we have shifted. And this is the universe shifting us right now, pushing the big reset button. And we need to be more aware now than ever, ever, ever before because we're at the threshold of this age of Aquarius. I'm just going to pause for just a moment and just see if there's any questions. Well, you can either.
And I've allowed people to unmute themselves now. So
Okay, thanks, Gary. I'll let people, I'll continue to speak. One of the other things that they're showing me is that this is a time that we're building bridges. We're building bridges from past to future. And some of the bridges are going to be there for a long time, and some of them are very temporary bridges. There might be just boards thrown across the road to get us to where we're going. And I think the image that they're giving me on that is just to let us know that perfection is not something that we can embrace right now because we're still learning. It is about trial and error in that time. It's about, we don't know what we don't know until we try it. And we don't know what we don't like until we try it. So this is about being vulnerable. And I want you to think about maybe what the universe has been delivering to you in this last year. What's been a repeat thread for you that the universe has been nudging you to change? A repeat theme, either in conversations that you're having, a feeling like, why can't I just break through this? Why can't I accomplish this? Because the universe has been amazing at delivering those big things. Remember, the universe put us up in our bedroom for a timeout, and it's going to continue to deliver that message to us. Okay. So what are some of the things? And sit with this. Because the minute that we throw this question out there, the universe is going to give you this example again. Okay. I just thought I saw somebody had a question. And then,
yes, I have a question.
okay.
So this past year, it's been, I've been like reliving relationships and like, I encountered a soulmate, stuff like that. So how do I know that I have like learned my lesson and it's okay to let go of the past in order to like move forward? Do you have any
Get out,
guidance on that?
get out of your head. Honestly, and that sounds so cliche, like get out of your head and get into your heart. But, the fear is the thing. Everything that we experience has a purpose and a reason. So if we enter into every relationship with the fear that, oh my gosh, this is going to be another one of those relationships again, or it's going to go belly up, we're never going to have the full experience of that relationship. It's always going to be through the filter of, oh my gosh, I have to be on guard. Okay. That's a key example of being vulnerable and being open to the possibility and trusting yourself that whatever the relationship is, it's what you need to experience. And the truth is it could be the most wonderful thing, and it could also not be the most wonderful thing, but to just allow yourself to experience it instead of putting fear. You're looking at it through fear. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, that does.
It maybe wasn't the answer you wanted, dear, but it's one thing that I've learned in all the years of channeling and working with people is the universe really does have a plan, and we really do have a plan. It's when our humanness steps in that screws it up. Honesty, it's when we try to control, when we try to manipulate, when we try to protect or shield, that's when we get all these detours. Okay. So
Okay,
try to relax a little bit. Pardon?
yeah, I completely agree because I think that that's kind of happening like and like universal. People are afraid, and then that's why growth is kind of being so resistant. And yeah, I think people are like trying to find stability and they want to go back to the past. And I think subconsciously that's what I'm doing too. Is like I've been there and I've done that, even though it didn't
Yeah.
work.
Yep. And so if we trust ourselves, so think about if you had a lifetime in the ice age, you learned things in the ice age that you can apply in this lifetime. Think about if you had a lifetime in the time of farming and taking care of yourself, it's part of you. You've learned that, but it's the fear in you that keeps saying, I've never done this before. I don't know how to do this. And so you're absolutely right. Fear can be a great part of our compass, but it also is the thing that shuts us down. Okay. And we're rebuilding, in 2019, 2020, I think a lot of our trust got broken or shattered. And so we're rebuilding our own personal definitions of trust. Can we trust our neighbors? Can we trust humanity? Can we trust ourselves? We're really going through that definition. and then trying to figure out what the right decision is. And here's where I think we get too much into our heads is like, what is right or wrong? We're so afraid of making a mistake again. Where here is the universe, the age of Aquarius, the universe is kind of giving us a clean slate. And trusting ourselves that we're smart enough that we won't make those same mistakes. Okay. I'm just looking at, what do I think the purpose, the spiritual purpose of the pandemic? Did the universe get fed up and put us on a speedy path to change? Yeah, like I said, the universe, I put us in a timeout and said, think about what you're doing, slow down. There is purpose to the pandemic. When you think about, and I've talked about this before too, when you think about the pandemic, how COVID is passed is through droplets in our air, through our breath. Do you understand? How every little action that we do, even though I see all of you on Zoom, if I'm waving my hands like this, I'm moving energy to you. Everything that I do is an impact to you. Everything. That's just one of the laws of physics, is everything is energy. So here's this pandemic, and just even our breath has the possible impact of, our possible time of impacting other people. So it's showing us the law of vibration. It's showing us the law of energy. It's showing us that my actions have an impact on other people's actions. And the universe, or Mother Earth, has been trying to show us that for a long time. My actions to water and to pollution has an impact to Mother Earth. Well, now my actions to other people have a direct impact to them. Okay. So we're still learning. We still are learning that. And part of the age of Aquarius is about science. It's about technology. I mean, did anyone else marvel at how quickly the vaccination was created and how the globe came together? That is pure age of Aquarius. Science, technology, collaboration. I mean, it's just, we marvel. And I know that there's a lot of conspiracy and fear out there, but it's like, this is like, we are maturing in science to benefit humanity. We truly are. We truly, truly are. And that's part of the age of Aquarius. And that's part of what we also get to learn to trust, is stepping away from the conspiracy theories, the fears, and stepping into trusting. Okay. Katie, what keeps coming up for me is that mother represents, truly is what mother represents and truly stands for. The mother energy. So if we look back at the age of Cancer, that was actually 8600 BC to 6500 BC. That was more of the mother and the goddess energy. And we've forgotten that. And as we go into the year 2000, just where our planets are and numerology is, we're stepping back into that mother energy. The mother energy represents the divine creation, love, intuition, rejuvenation. That is what we're experiencing now. And we can call it the mother. And there's so many layers of the mother energy, but it is fertility and it is creation. And that is exactly where we are right now, as we're stepping on this place of being able to create our futures based on what we want, better than where we were in the past. Does that make sense? Does that help? Okay. Other questions? Jan, yes.
So I think it's my Catholic upbringing keeps, there's that residual sentiment, but how is it that when we talk about the universe and putting us on hold and reset, on one hand, and then I think about the pain and suffering that has gone on, continues to go on the other hand, you know, and I can't help but think about the old punitive, well, until you learn your lesson, you know, that punitive aspect. And I'm trying.
I know, because you know, I grew up Catholic too, and the part of me every once in a while filters in. It's like, why are all these people continuing to be punished, right? What did they do? But I don't look at it as being punished. I look at, these are souls that raise their hand. They're working hard to bring attention to all of us to do something. they're really stepping forward. And so, it's as painful as it is maybe to see parts of the world or parts of the country in suffering. It's what are you doing about it? Consciously, what are you doing about it? And that's what's different right now. That's also what I see as part of the magic of technology, is because technology allows us to then do something about it instead of just gossiping about it or, passing it on Facebook or Twitter or something. We actually can take action in those places. So I know that's an old teaching and that's ingrained in so many of us but now we have a choice to, okay, I know that about myself. I know that teaching. I know I have that recording that keeps playing. How am I going to change it? What am I going to do about it? Am I going to send energy out? I used to spend, I don't know, 30 minutes every morning meditating and just sending prayers out to the universe. And over time, that's changed to almost be like an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. It just seems like it grows. And that's okay. The time for me goes by like that. But it's just, that is one of the things that I do personally to just contribute to a higher vibration type of healing. Okay. Did I answer your question? And I want to just think, say for a moment, for all the souls, we're coming to the end of our contracts and our agreements. And so if we have a contract to teach somebody, let's say about suicide or about prejudice, if we have a contract to help shift the world, those contracts are coming up right now and we're having to take action on them. And so that's also why it feels like there's a lot of people leaving, or there's a lot of turmoil or change or push for change, is because all those souls are feeling it's the end of the contract. I need to complete this. Okay. Yeah, Cindy. Whoops, you need to unmute, dear.
Sorry about that. So is that personal contracts or collective contracts?
It's personal. The personal ones, we're being called to complete them and then decide if we are going to sign up for another contract for the next go around. The collective, there's new collective contracts that are being formed right now that we're being asked to jump into. And what I'm seeing with people is some of the new collectives. How many of you are being called to like leave your careers? I know I left my corporate career a number of years ago, but that's an example of a collective. It's like, I'm going to leave this group of people and I'm going to go over here. And that's my new agreement. And those are starting to pop up for us. We're seeing an uplift in the healing community, in the public speaking, those that are wanting to make a positive change. Those are the new collectives. Okay. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yep. And some of those we are conscious of what we're signing up for. And some of them we can sit back and say, what the heck did I just sign up for? I didn't agree to this, and I think that's what's catching a number of people off right now also, is they're having surprises in their life and they're like, why is this happening to me? And part of it is, well, you did sign up for it. You did agree to it. It's just, it's the contract is coming to term. It's kind of like the bank collecting that final payment. It's like you're needing to take action on that. Okay. Good question. So in this year, I love the topic of February, because this being vulnerable, it's what the universe is calling for us to do, because in that place of vulnerability, that's where change can happen. Because if we continue to just be who we are without stepping outside that box or stepping outside for change, we'll continue to get the same. We'll get the same results again and again and again. Okay. There has to be brave souls that step up, that take a risk. And, in my world, I used to talk about risk adversity, people that were opposed to risk, right? But in the universe, we as humans are being pushed to attempt risk or to attempt change in order to drive change. Okay. Cindy, you had another question?
I'm sorry, it was back at the contracts piece. So if you need to continue it.
Nope, that's okay.
So can we change our contract midway in something like through free will? What is your take on that?
We can ask for an amendment. And this is where we get
I
into,
like that word.
yeah. Believe me, I've done that in my life. Can I just please have, it amended, or can I haven't had agreements that have been complete, so to call, until I've actually completed them. But we have boards. We have boards that govern our journey path. We have our guides and our angels that guide us in that. And our representation, which is usually our guides, go in front of the boards and can ask for us for an amendment, an advancement, a change, a modification in our agreements. Sometimes those can be granted and sometimes they're not.
Okay.
And sometimes what I've seen, Cindy, is that sometimes when they're not, it's because the change in your agreement would impact too many other people.
Okay.
Because I might have an agreement that is to help all of you. And if I just choose to not do that, then there's a lot of, it impacts a lot of people. So they're highly woven together. And so that's why we have our boards and our guides kind of govern that, so that we don't make stupid decisions along the way. I like to believe that we're shielded and protected. Honestly, though, that it brings up a strong point, because I personally have had situations along my life that I've, really almost like begged in front of the board for a change or a modification, and was told no. And it wasn't until after I got through a particular situation or got through the agreement or through the event that I understand the importance of it. So it's usually that hindsight is 2020, right? So.
Damn it.
I know. I know. I'm still waiting for the hindsight 2020. Let's look back on 2020. I think by the time, Pluto is the planet about death and rebirth. And right now, Pluto is in the middle of the United States. Okay. It doesn't get to 0 degree until 2024. So we have a number of years yet that the United States is going through a death and a rebirth, on top of Aquarius, on top of just everything else. So, we just have to kind of buckle in and settle in and make sure that we're in support systems like this that can support us, that we have places that we can share and talk and learn and be open and honest, because there's still a lot ahead of us. Okay, it's not going to happen overnight. The ages, when I talk about age of Aquarius, we're talking about thousands of years, right? The age of Pisces was from 0 to the year about 2000. And then we started shifting into the age of Aquarius. So it's not like the astrology sign where it's like 30 days. We're talking thousands of years. And so we're in this transitionary. Pluto's rotation is 248 years. Okay. So it's got a slow, so it hasn't been sitting on the United States, or it hasn't been where it has been for 248 years. So we like things fast as humans. When things get uncomfortable, we want them fast, but this is slow. And as humans, we don't like to take risks. We don't like to be vulnerable. We don't like change. It's like it's like taking the Band-Aid off very slowly. So it's just going to take some time. And again, I want to just say, somebody brought it up too, is that there isn't a way back. There is no way back. There's a way forward. And when we start thinking in terms of that, like we are going forward, and I can see, even if you say you can't see, your soul can see what's ahead. So it's a matter of saying, I see what's ahead. I dream what's ahead. I'm creating what's ahead. This sets you up for going forward instead of looking back and dragging those things with you. Okay, does that make sense?
Hey, Laurie, you're talking about risk taking. Well, in my younger days, I used to feel really okay, really comfortable taking risks. But I noticed in the last few years, the older I get, the more I just want to be safe. I don't want to take risks. I keep getting the nudge to retire, but I'm like, my whole entire adult life has been about working. What do I do? How will I survive? I know I haven't saved enough money to retire. So I'm feeling like I don't want to take any risks at all, even going outside driving on a day when we've had some inclement weather.
Yeah, that's very normal, Ella. It's because, you know, part of our past lifetimes and our ancestors, and even in this lifetime, we've grown up to be safe, right? Why take an unnecessary risk? And in situations where I hear in you, you have this duality going on. Like, I'm feeling like I really should retire, but yet how do I do this? There's this tug of war happening within us. That's very normal. What I suggest in that is that in your meditation or your asking of the universe is that you continue to ask for clarity in that.
Okay.
Like, I feel this tug. I feel I should be doing something else, or I could be doing something else. It's not clear yet. Show me. And just like I'm watching it snow a little bit outside here in Minnesota, it's like if you ever get stuck in inclement weather, you don't leave your vehicle, right? You
Right.
stay with the vehicle
Mhm.
until help comes or until you know. So we're kind of in that situation. Is like, if you're really unsure, stay with the vehicle, stay with where you are and ask for clarity, ask for what's next. Okay. And the
Okay.
universe will give you those steps along the way. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. And I'll share. So they're asking me to share. When I was in corporate America, I never thought I was in this, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to leave. I've got benefits, 401k. This is just my life. And I kept putting that message out to the universe. I know I'm supposed to do this full time. I know, please show me how. Well, lo and behold, I was contracting. The end of my contract came at Christmas time. I knew I had another contract coming up in May. I worked in that contract for like a week, and I just had this, literally this sick feeling. I'm just like, I just can't do this anymore. I just can't. And I just said no. I turned to the person that I was working with and I said, this isn't going to work, you know? And I just went and it sounds crazy, but it's just like the universe aligned for me, but I needed to take that step. I needed to say, it's enough. Okay. Sometimes, what they're telling me is that the importance of community is really going to ramp up for us here in this age, because we have a lot of baby boomers that are leaving, right? And this community or collectiveness is going to be really important for us as we support each other in this transition. So I don't know how that looks just yet, but that's what they're talking about. It's a new dream. Okay, other questions? I know
So
some.
maybe it's in the lines of the previous question. I had this while meditating. I had this sensation that I am, you know, how we have time between exams. Let's say you're done with one exam, and then you kind of switch off everything and you just enjoy this moment and you don't think about that, or but there is a you realize that that's the not the moment, but duration of this time. And then you will have another crazy exam or great responsibility to go
Yep.
with. And that's how it feels right now.
Yeah, that's really a good analogy. What I was, as you were talking, Luda, as I was thinking of like summer break, you know, when we have school and then you've got summer vacation or summer break. And I think as humans, when someone asks, you know, what was the purpose of the pandemic, is we were never taking any breaks. We were going from one thing to another, to another, to another, to another. And so many of us have forgotten to take those breaks between those tests. We just prepare for the next thing. And I think that's also important to realize, you know, in a normal energy wave, if you watch an energy wave, it has ebbs and flows like this. It's not a constant like this. And as humans, our energy ebbs and flows. It's only when we clash with other waves does it get jittery. Does it make sense? So we're out of flow is what's been happening. So in this, I want to do a meditation. I want to clear the chakras. I want to bring in the violet flame, which is the blue flame, and the pink flame of Saint Germain, because I want to establish a little bit more balance. Part of what I do is attunements and connecting, you know, the energies of beyond. Last year, I talked a lot about Hilarion coming in, the Ascended Master Hilarion, who had the fifth ray of truth. And we saw that in the underbelly and all the shadow stuff. This year, we have Master Lady Nada coming in and Saint Germain, and they're bringing more of the heart-centered love. And I think that part of that heart center is the realization that we have a lot of work ahead of us. It's not going to happen just in 1 year or just in a couple months. We've got some work ahead of us, but not to lose sight that we do have the support of the universe. We do have support of our communities, even if we might not see that just yet. It's there, or they're emerging. Some of you might be experiencing that now, where your new friendships are coming in, or new groups are coming in that you're joining, that you're connecting to. These are the support systems that are coming in for you, and just to believe that you are going to be supported there. All right. All right. So I'm going to play some background music here. Get back to you guys. And just find a comfortable place. And then I'm going to leave some time at the end just to answer any more questions. And the first thing that I am going to ask is, I ask that Archangel Michael, Ishta, Artemis, Athena, Bridget, Kali, Luke, Tara, the healers of the universe, to come in and to work with us in our divine light to clear and remove energy that is not of divine purpose. And I ask Archangel Michael that you come and remove any threads or energy, residue, control patterns, anything from our past, from the ages of past that might be holding us back or have been woven into our energy fields. And I ask that they be purified by the violet flame from all physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies to the quantum level of creation from all times and dimensions for the highest good of all now. And in our beginning, we were a full-grown being of light, a threefold flame of blue and pink and white. The blue flame represents the masculine energy. And we bring that blue flame in to activate the left brain hemisphere. This is our logical portion of our brain. We bring that blue flame now down into our throat and activate the throat chakra. And at the beginning of time, we also were a full-grown being of light, and we had access to the pink flame of our Mother God's love. And this activated our right brain hemisphere and the creative, intuitive portion of our brains and our being. And this sacred flame, we bring this down through the top of our head and down into our heart as it activates the flame within our heart chakra. And in the center of our heart, we have a white flame, the divine flame. And as this blue flame moves down and this pink flame moves down, it activates this divine white flame within our heart. And imagine these violet and pink flames intertwining and rotating around this white flame, activating your energy, freeing you from all blockages, activating your root chakra, keeping you deeply grounded, activating your sacral chakra, igniting creativity and boldness within your spirit, activating your solar plexus, bringing you calm and mellow and peace, activating your heart and filling this space with love, activating your throat, allowing you to speak your truth, activating your third eye. This is the connection to your inner knowledge. Activating your crown chakra, allowing that connection to aspirations, divine connections with outside the universe. And acknowledging all your chakras are spinning and are in alignment. Imagine this blue flame moving down over your entire body, this pink flame moving down over your entire body and spinning in divine aura, igniting the white energy within you, igniting your light body, igniting your I am energy. And as you allow this energy to move where it needs to go into your physical, your emotional, your mental, your spiritual fields, just breathe. And believe you are exactly where you need to be. Believe that you will know where and what you need to do when the time is right for you. Believe the universe takes care of you. Believe all that is exactly as it needs to be. Believe you are safe. Believe you are abundant. Believe you are loved. Believe that you can keep going long after your humanness believes you can't. Believe that you have access to all energy at all times, in all all forms. Believe that you have the ability to shift and change and be open to all the opportunities that the universe gives you. And feel your energy be centered. Saint Germain, I ask that you bring to us the violet flame. Mighty presence, beloved God, heavenly universe source, make manifest now the sacred violet flame of transmutation, bringing this violet flame into every cell, molecule, and atom of your body, filling you totally and completely. Blessed violet flame, blaze into your heart and expand out and around all of your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies, surrounding your entire being with the divine grace, love, mercy, and happiness. Transmute all energy of the past into the past. Connect all energy of the future into these energetic beings. We ask that this light be sent out to these people right now, filling their entire bodies with the divine radiance, raising their vibration and frequency to the highest level possible for them at this time. So it be, so it is. Thank you. And take normal breaths. Allow yourself to come back into present moment. Ready, when you're ready, wiggle your fingers, open your eyes, take a deep breath in and exhale out. Some of you may have felt warm or hot during that transmission. Some of you may have, your minds may have wandered, and that's okay. The rays of light came and went to where they needed to go. I'm just going to open it up for any last minute questions that you might have here.
Is there anything that we can do to help kind of like raise the collective vibration?
So the music that I was playing in the background was 432 and 528 hertz. I choose 528 HZ. It repairs the DNA and vibrates naturally at the heart center. Sometimes I'll just turn that on. There's a lot of free music on YouTube. I'll just turn that on in the background and let it just play throughout the day. Sometimes if I'm out and about, I'll just send love bombs out, or I'll just send energy out. Yes.
How do you find it on YouTube? You just
search for 528 HZ.
okay. And 432?
And 432. Here, Ellen, I'm gonna put one. I just put it in the chat.
Okay.
So you can grab that one. Tons of free music out there. Okay, anyone else?
Can you repeat that mantra that you gave us about I see what's ahead?
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can on any channel. I know what they were showing me was that they were cutting the cords actually of anything. So in our fibers, in our energy field, we have woven energy patterns all over. And I could see that they were unraveling some that were like holding us back and creating a webbing in front of us. So this is going to be recorded. So you can also go back to this recording.
Okay.
Sorry about that. That happens to me all the time.
That was really, really nice, Laurie.
I'm sorry. Two of you were talking. So,
Oh, I'm sorry. I just said that was so nice.
oh, thank you.
Really nice.
So go ahead.
I have a question. I have totally embraced the whole like timeout the universe gave us. But I feel like when I like to really recharge and be ready to do what I'm supposed to be doing, I travel. and so I feel like that I'm struggling with finding ways to really recharge and have that energy that I need to go forward. So I'm just curious if there's any thoughts you can give on that.
When you travel, are you time traveling or are you literally getting on an airplane and traveling?
Literally getting on an airplane and traveling. And I've been doing my little mini, like I like to get out into nature and I do that, but it's just, I feel like I need to be removed from this place longer than like a few hours.
Yeah. Well, maybe while you're traveling, if you can listen to some, put some earbuds in and maybe listen to some music. When I was on the road, I was a road warrior for years in corporate America. And typically I would just step in between meetings. I would step into the restroom and I would take 5 cleansing breaths, just a deep breath in and release it out. And then do that 5 times. And then before I would go to bed at night, I would do that, deep breathe in and I would hold it for a count of 5 and then exhale out. Because we are incredibly absorbent, energy collects energy. It does. It's a scientific, we are sponges. And you need a way to release that. And that's what I'm picking up with you is that, I don't know that you have a good release mechanism to consciously release it. When you get out in nature, the nature just kind of sucks it in, clears us. But I would try that even during the day. Step into your office or restroom and just do some cleansing breaths. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
And the shamanic breath, in shamanic practices, it's the breath in and then just breathing out with force, emptying your lungs to move the energy. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I think too, in this pandemic, when we're out in public, we used to be very shallow breathers and we have become incredibly shallow breathers. Anybody finding that you're just holding your breath? So when you are in a place like home or you are in a place that you can take off your mask, it is important for you to do those cleansing breaths because we have become so incredibly, we breathe like right here. We don't do the deep inhale and exhale. Okay, good questions. Anything else? All right. I want to thank all of you so very much for joining us here in this Sunday morning. It brings tears to my eyes just with gratitude of seeing all of you and having the opportunity to work with Lake Harriet and to speak. So I want to call out Lake Harriet once again. Just they do some magical things. I think Gary put the link in at the top of the chat for offering just to help keep them up and running. So yeah, Katie, you had one more question?
I have one more question. I have to ask before we get offline with you. So do you have any idea of when we can get together and have another drumming session? I miss drumming.
Yeah, it's not the same. I have monthly drumming, but it's in my living room, right? Where, we have to be etherically around the buffalo drum. I do think it's going to be a while just yet before we can all be collective in one place. Until then, there's nothing that says that you can't continue to drum. on your own, right? And use your voice. So yeah, I know. I miss that too. So
I have one.
yeah.
This is a selfish request, but I just figured with all the psychic people and all the energy out there, I lost my car keys in my house somewhere, and they're on a bright orange rope. And I don't know, I went to bed at night and I went to get in my car in the morning and my car wouldn't start because my keys weren't in my purse. So any help I can get with that?
I think, Ellen, you put them someplace odd, like in the refrigerator or in the pantry.
Yeah, I was going to check the freezer.
Yeah. The other thing is, that's what I'm getting is like you were busy and we're putting stuff away and they're in a cupboard or refrigerator, freezer or something. But Saint Anthony is the patron saint that helps us find things. And now
Okay.
he will, and when I talk about him, he reminds me, he will help us find keys and, and a pen and things that we've lost. But he also will help us find our way. He'll help us find abundance. He'll help us find careers. He'll help us find things. Okay. So
Okay.
he's okay helping us with
Yeah, I
the
have a
little things.
tendency of doing that sometimes. That, I guess we all do when we get overwhelmed or something. But
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Laurie.
Yep.
Who's the guide for neighbors?
A guide for neighbors?
Yeah, I moved last year and I just love my neighbors. They had like kindness signs in front of their yard. They've just been like a dream come true, and they just moved. And I've been working on manifesting and working the energy. But is there a particular? Yeah. Because I really need quiet and I really need the energy held. It really helps.
Yeah.
They moved away or in?
They moved away. Yeah.
So what I would do is I would call in the archangels for the 4 directions.
Okay.
Why limit it to just your house?
Right.
Open it up to the neighborhood. My neighbors tease me that they're the luckiest neighbors because I'm always doing ceremony and I'm always calling in the archangels. It's like the neighborhood. So call in Archangel Michael of East and Archangel Gabriel of South, Archangel Raphael of West, and Archangel Uriel of North.
Okay.
So they govern the directions.
Great. So. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're the best, Laurie. Thank you so much.
You guys are the best. Have a love to all of you. Have a wonderful Sunday. All right. Stay warm, stay blessed. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. Thanks, Gary, for helping.